Chicago's event, because the two of us work on it, is the largest. And it's internet. It's spirits from around the world, all independently owned. We kind of stay away from the whole craft titles because that's still up in the air and still people debate what's craft and what's not. So yeah, it's all independent brands, and I really enjoy that because it's great seeing what these new folks are doing, and in every different level. We had a ton of different tequilas and mezcals this past year in September.
Well, I know that on Twitter, some of you may follow Martin Duffy 48 on Twitter, and you were photographing or sending photographs of your tequila table, where you were about to judge tequilas for BTI.
Oh, right. So the BTI, the Beverage Testing Institute here in Chicago, I did. They asked me to come in. I do like tequilas quite a bit. Always have. Though my expertise is more in the whiskey area, but when they asked me to come in and judge, I jumped at it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I did that for about 2 weeks. It's kind of it's when you're available. If you can come in and do it, it's kind of a very loose knit, kind of small network of local folks in the spirit industry who gather together and taste them out.
So it's not as concentrated a big deal like it is with the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Oh, no, because it's not a competition.
We hear stories about backroom agreements and things going on, and it's not like what it used to be.
No, I mean, well, that's just it. I mean, yeah, when it comes to competitions, yes, exactly, right.
Just nod your head.
No, when it comes to spirit competitions, I'm always leery. Yeah.
Well, how do you define craft? You've tasted the tequila's blind, whiskey's blind. What are like the three things that you look for in any craft spirit? Pick one. Let's start with whiskey or bourbon.
Well, I think it's what everyone looks for. I mean, I think it's the three most obvious. You're going to be checking for an attractive nose, an attractive aroma. Is it aromatic? Is it complex? So you're getting all sorts of different, triggers from just nosing it. Is it alluring? Is it bringing you into it? Second, obviously, is taste, the most obvious one. And when you're tasting it, again, is it just kind of a one-note thing? Are you picking up the different nuances? Does the flavor come in stages? That first initial, and then all of a sudden you get this wacky surprise, maybe in the middle of your palate, and then you get this great taste going down the throat. And thirdly, is the mouthfeel, the body, the texture. I mean, all three of those are so key to any good spirit. I mean, you could have the first two, and then the last one will kill it for you.
Yeah, we've seen that in our Sipping Off the Cuff series on Tequila Aficionado. Alex and I will do a series of tastings in an evening, and sometimes from the same line, from a Blanco to an Extra Añejo, there's something that's lost. The reversal is also true. The Blanco, the unaged, isn't all that great, and yet it improves with the aging, and there's a lot of things that you can fix with barrels. Right. So you kind of have to weigh. For us in tequila, if you have a Blanco that stands on its own, it's a real good indicator of how the rest of the line is going to taste. But with whiskeys and bourbons, it's completely different.
Well, your Blanco's your base, right? I mean, that's where you're starting from. And then hopefully if you're doing good barrel management, you're selecting the right wood. Then your añejos, your reposados. I mean, there should be a really interesting progression.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts with your base spirit.
How much experience do you have with the tequilas and the mezcals these days? I mean, I'd imagine that you're fairly well practiced with different spirits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lover of all spirits. I really am. I mean, I've worked with most of them, throughout the years, whether it was behind the bar or working with various spirit companies, representing their stuff, or then obviously with the Expo.
That's right. Now you're one of the organizers of is it the Chicago Independent Spirits
Expo? Yep.
Expo. Okay.
Yeah. So I partnered up with Dave Schmier from Redemption, and I've been helping. We co-produce it. We just did our 5th, and we're already beginning to plan our 6th year, which will be next.
Congratulations.
September. Thank you. Yeah.
Most shows, if you can get past your 5-year mark, you've made it. And
the great thing about, it's kind of a great built-in bonus for us is that it's independent spirits, and you have a boom across the board, whether it be tequila, rums, whiskeys, liqueurs. I mean, you name it.
Vodkas too these days.
Vodka, of course. I mean, most distilleries are starting off with a vodka and doing a gin, and then they start off with maybe even an unaged rum, and then working on up to aging stuff. So I've been able to get exposed to quite a bit. It was actually during my time with Benedictine that I was working a lot with mezcal. I really loved mezcal because it works. Benedictines can be quite sweet, and so I love the smokiness and the drier character that you find in mezcal. You mix the two together. There were some really great cocktails.
Wow,
fantastic ones that you
some nice layers on those cocktails.
So yes. Yes,
I know with our experience now, especially in the last 5 years with Tequila Aficionado, we're getting more and more mezcals that are being sent to us for our tasting episodes. And what I'm finding out is that there are mezcals coming in at 40 ABV, as opposed to the higher proofs, the traditional higher proofs. And some lose their character there, and some actually maintain their characters at 40 ABV or 80 proof. So what I get from a mezcal is that even if you use it in a cocktail or you age it, because you have now mezcals that are reposados and añejos. Because the traditional ones are joven, they're unaged. And even with the wood, it doesn't take away any character. A good mezcal, it almost like it adds another layer to a good mezcal.
Oh yeah. No, I mean there was I did a seminar with Ron Cooper with Del Magay.
Ron, I have one of his copitas right here.
Yeah. Is it signed?
Well, Ron and I, when I lived in Albuquerque for 18 years, and Ron was my neighbor up in Taos. There's Alex. Hey,
what's
up, boss?
I didn't get my other cameras to work. I had to use my computer camera.
Before we get to Ron Cooper, I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio, Texas. Down in the area 51 of Tequila is Alex Perez.
How you guys doing?
Good, boss. Hanging in there.
Hey, Alex.
Right above you, on the secret square is Martin Duffy.
Yeah, is Charlie Weaver going to be in the middle?
I don't know, but
or maybe Andy Davis.
If I have enough mezcal tonight, I'm doing Paul Lind. And then down at the left, Bradley Large, who is a brand owner of one of the really coolest tequilas out there. He's got two of them, actually. Look at this one.
Oh, Route 66. Cool.
Mira, we're big fans of Route 66 tequila. And for the girls, for the gals, and the guys, Diva tequila. Diva is an infused tequila, which is, it's an acquired taste for some. For those of us who are purists, you may or may not like that. But of all the infused tequilas that we have had, this is one of the better ones on the market. So it's a great, what we call gateway tequilas. Yes. And so now that we're all together, Marty, we were going to talk something really interesting. You may or may not know about the Riedel glass, the Riedel tequila glass.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I didn't know. They have a tequila glass.
This is an actual tequila glass by Riedel, the Glass Corporation. It was developed in 2001. We broke the story on Tequila Aficionado. We were sent the official press release at that time. It was a glass that was worked with. It was developed by George Riedel and several members of the CRT and Casa Noble tequila. And this is what they came up with. We've been using this tool. This is kind of our standard tour from when we do our tastings. As you can see, it almost is reminiscent of a champagne glass.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's got a high shimmy.
Yeah, it's.
Well, it kind of looks like an enlarged. You ever see the smaller cognac glasses that they actually use at some of the cognac houses?
Something like this, maybe?
No, not a cognac balloon. It looks just like that glass, but imagine it being maybe 4 times the size.
Okay.
They're quite small. They're about yo big.
Okay. Yeah. There's over the years, this glass has been either revered or reviled. Originally, it was developed for reposados, according to the Riedel family. I know tequila catadores who love it for blancos, for unaged. But lately, and Alex, you might want to chime in on this, but lately the tequila industry has been going into terroir. There's no designation for highlands and lowlands like there is in Scotch, but in tequila there is some sort of delineation as to the highlands of Jalisco and the Tequila Valley, and the better brands are beginning to distinguish themselves from other brands on the shelf. And I feel, and I think Alex will agree with me, is that we have tequila has outgrown this glass, and that the regions of tequila, or the 5 different growing regions, states, deserve to have their own glassware. But where do you go? And in the past, a lot of my Oakhead friends have been telling me about the Glencairn whiskey glass. So who better to walk us through how to use this stuff than you? When I came across you, it was like, oh my gosh, our prayers have been answered, tequila fans.
Jessica Biel said the same thing when I met her. She said the exact same thing.
No, Mike, you're right. The Riedel people designed the glass, and they just stopped there, which is surprising because they have a glass when it comes to wine and to spirits for every type of wine. You've got a glass for Bordeaux, you've got a glass for Chardonnay, you've got a glass for Sauterne, you've got a glass for Pinot, but they only made one, I guess, multi-purpose glass for tequila. Yeah. So this is really our go-to for Blanco, but that's not necessarily, I don't think, does the Reposados, the Añejos y Añejos, or even the Mezcal justice.
Alex, I sat through, there was a presentation up in Kohler, Wisconsin. They had a wine weekend, and the gentleman from Riedel walked us through there. It was kind of interesting, but I think there was a little tad bit of hocus pocus and a little of that Jedi mind trick going on as well.
Well, this is the glass version, the Overture collection, but they have the Sommelier collection, which comes in crystal and is twice the price.
Right.
So, as a whiskey person and a glass person, and now where the industry is headed, where craft tequila makes a big splash, and mezcals now that doesn't have its own glass. We're using gourds or the Copitas from Ron Cooper.
Right.
By the way, Ron was a neighbor of mine up in Taos. So he and I have been friends for a long time. Great guy.
Yeah, I ran into him in Portland during their cocktail week back in October. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were in our shoes, first of all, let me say the Glencairn company was very nice to supply us with 3 different types of glassware, and Alex and I did a series of sipping off the cuffs using different ones, and in our way how we would use it, the way we use a Riedel glass. But I wanted to hear from an expert, from somebody who's been using these glasses for a long time. How would which one would you use for a Blanco or a Reposado or Añejo?
Well, the Copita, which I see some of the folks tweeting, Copita glasses.
Copita.
Yeah, has always been I think this is the standard, basically, when you go to most distilleries. At least, here in North America, especially over in Europe. Mm-hmm. You're going to find a different variation of Copita. This is our Glencairn Copita. Mm-hmm. And these are fantastic, especially for any of your younger or white spirits.
Okay.
It's
just Blanco, Joven, and Reposado.
Yeah. And then once you start getting into aged spirits, I think that's where the Glencairn, the traditional whiskey glass, really comes in. Mm-hmm. That one, Alex, the one you're holding, that is called the Canadian Mixing Glass. So this was created actually for Canadian whiskey.
It comes with its own hockey sticks.
Yes. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I sent you those, but they actually, most of them have the maple leaf.
No, mine's that knockoff. Mine's the North American version.
Says Maker's Mark, but I'll take your maple leaf one.
Yeah,
really? Does it say Maker's Mark?
The maple leaf. By the way,
are you in Imbibe?
I
see the Glencairn glasses.
You're gonna see the Glencairn glass everywhere, baby. That is. I mean, we do it. Anthony Bourdain is. He's going around with Balvenie, but anytime you see him drinking a spirit, it's with a Glencairn glass, and that's not even like anything on our part. We didn't reach out to him. That's the glass they use or he uses.
Patron says the same thing, that they never paid any rappers to put them in their songs. I believe you.
It's true. We're too small to pay Anthony Bourdain.
I want to know how you got to be the only North American rep. for the United States.
How do you
handle the demand for the entire United States?
It's kind of like the Highlander. There were other ones. I had to behead them.
There can be only one.
Exactly. Actually, once again, the Glencairn company is small. It's still family owned and run.
Yes.
Ray Davidson started back about 35 years ago. And then when he has 3 sons, and once his 3 sons were old enough, as each one got old enough, they joined the company. So his oldest son, Paul, kind of does the day-to-day finances and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
His youngest son is Andy Davidson. And so for, I don't know, last 6 years or so, Andy was traveling the globe as the sole salesperson.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he was going to Asia. He was going all over Europe, obviously, and then all over the United States. He would try to attend as many events that used our glass, which is all the whiskey fests, all the whiskey lives, whiskeys of the world. And then I've known the family for about 12 years. And about a year ago, they just reached out to me and asked me, "Hey, Marty, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing. Not doing a thing."
I'm acting off Broadway.
Yeah, exactly. It's a one-man show. It's in Grant Park.
There you go.
I just have a little bucket. It's a little bucket. There are some coins in there.
Oh my.
But I mean, it basically is almost like that. So I take care of. I do what Andy did for North America. Plus, you got to keep in mind, by 11 a.m. Chicago time, their office is closed. It's Scotland. It's the UK, man. That place is dark at 5 on the dot. Scotland. Hey, I'll say it of Glasgow. Hey.
Oh, see, I can't do. Are you kidding? This is the new James Bond right there.
James Bond. Makes money.
Oh my God. So do any of you have a Blanco? And because I really would like you, Marty, to demonstrate and walk us through how we use the Copita for a Blanco, maybe, or a Reposado. Are we prepared for that? I know I am.
I do not. Actually, I do not have a tequila anywhere near me.
You got a vodka?
No, I have no. I mean, it's just my little office. All my booze is in the next room.
What kind of office is that? Look at Alex's office. He's in the area 51 of tequila.
Yeah, look at that.
He just has to reach back.
Nice little cabinet. That's sweet.
Oh,
mine is all over the floor. It's on the floor.
I hear you.
Ugly.
Alex does too. Yeah, we trip over his bottles whenever we're in Southern California with him. It's just you got to watch carefully. Let me grab my Blanco.
So you want to try? You want to use the Copita?
Now, gents, you might already know this, but I've been doing quite a bit of studying on the sense of smell and aromas. That's fascinating, and I did not know this. I knew. For instance, when they've studied aromas in spirits, bourbon has roughly about 127 different distinct aromas.
Wow.
Scotch, about 184. Cognac jumps all the way up to about 486. Tequila, 600.
Yes.
And
mezcals are right there as well, depending on the plant that they're producing it from.
Right, and then when you consider mezcal's production process, if done properly, where the smoke isn't too overwhelming, but still it adds a whole different dimension to it. It's very key that since between 70 and 80% of our sense of taste is actually in our sense of smell. We need to really explore spirit through the old Schnazola before we actually take a sip. So that's why a glass like the Copita or even the Glencairn, it's all about driving the aroma up, right? Same thing with a cognac tulip glass. You notice it's always a bulb, and then it narrows, driving the aroma up to the nose. I'm of the school of, if it's and you asked me before, Mike, what do I look for in a good spirit? Since I'm going to be nosing a spirit, first off, yes, you can check out the color, but color can be deceiving. Is caramel coloring being used? You don't know, blah, blah, blah. Are they using small casts, trying to age it fast and just impart a lot more color, but you're not getting a lot of character? So the nose of the spirit is so important.
Let me stop you right there. Just briefly. The nose of the spirit is so important. And what brings the aroma up to you is alcohol, is it not? The molecules.
Not entirely.
Okay.
Because
there's a reason I ask, but I don't want to interrupt you anymore. But it is part of it, at least in tequila.
Well, don't forget. I mean, I know that in the whiskey world, you don't get the full aroma until you actually drop some water in. And why is that? Because alcohol suppresses flavor. Its water actually will release it. Now, you don't see that too often. I haven't been to too many tequila tastings where you ever had someone add a drop of water to their tequila.
With tequila, the general rule is that you'd put a drop of water in tequila and it changes the flavor profile completely. Heat will do that. Right. I like to serve my tequilas at room temp, and the Mexican Tequila Academy has actually broken it down to temperatures. But that's almost extreme for a lot of people. Some people like to just stick it in the freezer, and pull it out that way. I know traditionally with whiskeys, it's whiskey and soda or the big brick of ice, right, Alex? For the Now and Ice program is so important. But with tequila, it's not commonly done.
But see, even with the brick of ice, the ice isn't there. You never add ice to any spirit, actually, if you really want to examine its aroma. Ice will create a barrier as far as aroma too. What you might discover is, especially if you're using a large ice cube, it might give you a different take on the texture and body of the spirit. And it will and maybe even release the flavor. If it's large enough cube, it'll melt slower. Boom, boom, boom. But no, if you're nosing it a little bit, and it would be room temperature water. You don't use cold water, and you'd use a drop. Basically, it breaks that plane of alcohol, and that's true mostly, like I said, with whiskey and even vodkas. So I would imagine it have to be the same with tequila, because that's also the problem with a lot of higher strength spirits.
Yes,
is that a lot of people think, oh wow, I'm getting a lot off that. No, you're getting a lot of alcohol.
Right.
But that alcohol isn't necessarily isn't allowing you to break through it and taste the underlying or nose the underlying aromas. And then when you taste it, you're still.
You happen to have a dropper.
Yeah, there you go. See,
you're adding a drop of water?
That's
a sacrilege.
Yeah, I got plenty of tequila to test with.
Yeah, but see, that's just it. So what's the
drops?
Alex, what's the strength of that tequila?
What's that?
What's the strength of the tequila you have there?
It's 40.
40.
40.
So let's see. What's the other 60% made from? You add a drop of water. I think there's already some water in there.
Yeah, there is. Some there are very few. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. There's very few tequilas that are distilled to proof.
Right.
You're right, Marty. The tequilas are watered down to bring them to.
Right, a bottled up. They're not bottled up proof. They're going to be, they're going to add water to bring it down to bottling strength.
Right. There are tequilas that we have talked to some master distillers that are at higher ABVs, and mezcals, go from 40 to higher than that.
Yeah.
But so you do, by as a rule, you don't enjoy the spirits at higher ABVs?
No, I can't.
Or cask strength, for instance?
I mean, some are exceptional at 60%. You taste it, you don't even know it. You go, oh my God, this is one. You're not getting a big alcohol plume. When you taste it, you're not getting any alcohol burn. Mm-hmm. It's going over. Smooth and mellow. However, that same whiskey, even if I'm enjoying it at 60%, I'm still going to add some water to it, because I still believe that there's more underneath. There's
so you will add water to it, Marty?
Yeah. Well, especially if it's like 60%, you can add a couple of drops of water. You got a lot of room to play with there.
No. But that's just me.
All right. Well, but that's the beauty of it. I mean, that's why, Mike, you drink your spirits with that little potato trap of yours, and I drink mine with mine.
So there.
Yeah.
Well, we're inviting you to our sandbox, and I want you to show us how to play, with your pail, and because, like Alex says, and we've said it before, we don't believe that tequila has been given the respect that it deserves. I think the Riedel has served its purpose already. It served its purpose to elevate from the caballito, the shot glass, right? We all drank out of that, and it served to elevate the image. Now,
I know.
Now we got to go a few more steps further.
Well, guys, let me ask you a question, because I used to work for Diageo, and so it was back in the days when they had Corvo, and then I worked with Don Julio back in the day. And anytime you brought up tequila to most people, and I'm talking this is about, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. You bring up tequila to someone, the first reaction is, oh my God, tequila? I know. I had a bad experience with tequila once. And all I could think of is, no, tequila had a bad experience with you. You mistreated the tequila.
I got to use that one next time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was alcohol abuse. You were abusing that poor alcohol.
That's right.
So now going back to the whole idea that tequila has so much aroma. One of the things that you'll notice when you get that kind of response is that the person's, oh, I can't even smell it. And I think that's just it. Is so much going on that and your sense of smell is the number one trigger of memories of all your senses, right? So unfortunately, some of these people's memories that are triggered is that night at the one fraternity where he was initiated into.
Remember that day in college when you woke up face down on your floor? Yeah.
Yeah. In your own.
Yeah. And then had to go to work or class the next day.
Yes.
I've done it.
Pores were just reeking of.
Yeah. Last night's burger or whatever.
So, how often do you guys get this still? I mean, is that still prevalent? Because I would think that also this this misuse of tequila for when people are younger.
Right.
That it's hard to convince them to, like put that behind you, retry it, taste it, don't swig it. It's not a shot.
I would say, I don't know about.
Sorry, that's still there. That's still out there, Marty. You still have those that have had those bad experiences. Those that will brave it a second time to try to do it the right way with the right type of spirit will have I think a revelation. They'll finally see that this spirit demands respect. Obviously, people that have those type of things happen, they've obviously overindulged on just low quality spirits, and or a mixture of stuff that's got too much sugar in it. And that's really what makes you sick. So hopefully these people will give it a second chance, and they'll be able to explore the world of tequila. But I think a lot of people, and Mike, you can maybe add to this. A lot of people are discovering or rediscovering this fine spirit. Because of the likes of some of the good smaller tequila companies out there that are really beating the street and teaching people about the spirit.
How do you feel that the world of mixology, has it been embracing tequila more? And if so, wouldn't that also bring in a whole new generation where
most definitely.
Yeah, it's the mixology has been driving the spirits market for at least 5 years, probably longer. These companies like Diageo and all the big names have jumped on that bandwagon, and they are promoting their own promotional contests to come up with new recipes. They've really attacked the mixology market, and some mixologists have been romanced by these larger companies, but the ones that they still love spirits in general really acquire a taste for the craft, the smaller producers, and we're seeing more and more of that, especially with mezcals. As I said, there are mezcals coming in at what we call a gateway mezcals at 40 ABV, but the really the ones that have really romanced the mixologists have been the 40s and higher, because it lends itself to their creativity.
Yeah.
But it's hard to ignore Bacardi when they want to make you their bartender of the world, and Sky Vodka that's going to make you, send you to Russia and go to the world's first ice bar where you're going to work, and promote their brand. You got to draw the line there too, which is why I reached out to you, because I think the Riedel glass is already, like I said, served its purpose. It's already elevated the image, but you take us further. Let's see what other glass companies who have the same kind of history. A lot of folks are not aware that Glencairn, Riedel have about the same amount of years in business, 200 plus. The Cuervo family, is over 250 years old. So there's a lot of history behind this. It's not like you guys are overnight successes. You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, not 200 years, only 35, but still,
well,
those 35 seemed like 200 years.
It does. It's really concentrated.
Yes, a lot of activity. And actually, especially in the last, it was interesting for Glencairn. They came on just as people were getting back into the spirits of things. The 80s saw cocktails like the Fuzzy Navel.
Harvey Wallbanger
really was the big cocktail then, and then people slowly started weaning themselves off the Cosmopolitan and started having vodkas chilled straight up. Okay, from there you go on to gin. So you start building up flavor. Then you move from gin, you go into whiskeys or tequila. There's a little crossroad at either end. When I was bartending in the 90s, we had I worked at a Mediterranean taverna here in Chicago, and we had at the time, a very high-end, not a huge, but a high-end selection of tequilas. We were charging $9 for a Porfidio.
Okay.
At a time when, that was unheard of. Cuervo was still going for about $4 or $5 in the well, and that's nuts. We had people coming in saying, "I want a margarita with your most expensive tequila." And it's like, okay, but our margaritas made with a powdered sour mix. So, not be happy with that.
Mr. and Mrs. T.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I used to sell it.
Hey, I sold that too, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, I used to work for Alizé.
Oh my.
Yeah. If you've never had passion fruit and cognac.
Oh wow.
Oh.
They used to mix more cognac with it. It was called Thug Passion.
Thug Passion. You drink it like this.
Yeah.
Sideways.
You drink it and then you punch yourself real hard.
Oh, the alcohol business. What a concept.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Marty, I do believe that the good bartenders out there, the craft bartenders have really revived, I think, glassware, the use of good glassware, the use of good quality ingredients, the use of good spirits.
Some of the go-to cocktails, Alex.
Yeah, DC the mixers and actually make some real things made from natural and real products. You got the Dale DeGroffs of the world and Steve Olson and all these other guys at Woodridge, the godfathers of cocktails, really, bringing some recognition to really this industry, the spirits and the cocktails, and bringing all that back. So it's time. It's time for good glassware, and people are looking for good quality tools that they can use.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's a great place, guys. If you ever visit Washington, D.C., head over the river to Alexandria, Virginia. And if I can give a plug, this is a fantastic, check out the website. It's called the Hour Shop. It's in Old Town in Alexandria. It's run by Victoria Ferguson. And she has one of the best, coolest selection of vintage barware. And, the only problem is with all that, I've seen some wonderful cocktail bars that they're using vintage barware, but in the bar business, vintage bar, I mean, it's not very durable. It was meant to be used in a parlor with people who were sophisticated and who were probably only going to have one or two drinks, not sit there all night and maybe get a little tipsy. That is why glasses like the Copita are nice, because they are a little sturdier, and yet they're not thick. I had a master blender with me once here in Chicago from Ireland, and I gave him an Irish whiskey. It was new to the market. I just wanted to see what he thought of it. I didn't tell him what was in it. I asked the bartender for a serving of it. He poured it into one of those thick beveled rocks glasses.
Oh yeah.
And he went to taste it, and he was repelled by just the glass. It was so thick. It felt weird. And it does. The thickness of the glass affects the flavor of the whiskey. It'll affect the flavor. Plus, also, if you're using a rocks glass like this, it's not driving the aroma to your nose. You're not getting the full effect of the spirit.
So the glassware that they're using at the Beverage Tasting Institute, do you have anything to do with that? Do you get to select it? Or is it given to you? Is it all uniform?
No, it is all uniformed. They use their own glassware.
Is it a Libby?
They do not. It probably is Libby.
Libby.
I know they don't get it from us. Yeah. But
do you find if you're using the improper glassware that is also affecting your judgment, your final scores?
Well, I don't know. I've never used any other glassware other than what they've had. But I will find out. Well, no, I won't, I guess. I'm going to be a judge for the American Craft Spirits Association. They have annual awards for all the American Craft Spirit distilleries. So I'll be a judge in come January, but I believe we're supplying the glassware. So I won't. But you know what? That might be a great opportunity for me to experiment with a few others. Right. There are a number of different glasses out there. I actually received, I think it might have been on LinkedIn, somebody tagged me for a Kickstarter. They're trying to come up with a brand new whiskey glass, and they actually featured the Glencairn and a number of other glasses.
Aren't they from Australia?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. There was like an Australian guy talking, and the problem is, so his
is like a
so they're not
unfooted. Is that there's no foot, right?
Well, I think what he was saying is that, and this I've never heard this before in my life. He says because the way the Glencairn is shaped and how you have to drink it, you lose eye contact with your spirit. Because you end up doing this. You're doing this, and it's like, I don't know anybody who does this. Who does that? What, you can't go like this?
Well, you either if you when you kiss a pretty girl and you want to close your eyes, exactly. I do.
I often do. When I drink, it's like making out.
Right. Speaking of which, when Alex and I were going through our version of using the Glencairns, he discovered something very interesting about this Copita. Do you want to reveal that, Alex?
Uh-oh.
Well, it was that it made you, in order to take a taste, right? You almost had to pucker up, right? You have to pucker up.
Yeah, because your nose gets in the way otherwise. For those of us with
it actually drops it. I believe in the place where it should be. Drops it right on the tip, tip or just behind the tip of the tongue.
I was so shocked by that because, with the Riedel,
or I just have a big mouth. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have a big nose too, but the thing is, I've never used a glassware where it made you perform a function with your lips in order to use it properly.
This one, you don't have to pucker up with this one.
Well, you know what I noticed with this though? Let's see. Well, with all these glasses, boing and boing, the one thing, especially actually the nice thing about this and this Canadian glass is it's actually gaining some ground down in Kentucky. One, because you can use it to appreciate a whiskey, but then you can also drop that big ice cube in there,
right,
and finish and just kind of sit back and enjoy. But all three of them, at least the bottom half of your nose, your nostrils should still be in the glass. At least mine. I don't know if it's just because I have a finely crafted nose. Please notice.
Would that be the Glencairn nose?
It was financed by them, yeah.
Sponsored by.
I used to have a very large nose, enormous nostrils.
Oh, man.
Now, more finely crafted. You can hardly see them, really.
Finely crafted nose.
blossom, the old gin blossom nose.
The old gin blossom, yeah.
Ed McMahon, W.C. Fields.
W.C. Fields.
Gone.
Amazing. Looks really good.
A little more Gregory Peck now.
Gregory Peck.
But now to go back real quick, you asked me, so this is how I like to nose a spirit. And
this is your go-to for nosing.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is not for Scotch, for whiskey, for
just because the different things I've picked up from, especially master blenders, but also from reading some of this, is for instance, you actually alternate using a different nostril. I mean, not just nosing. You actually, during the course of the day, you use one nostril more than the other, roughly for about 4 hours, and then it switches over. Don't ask me why, and I don't even know how they measure Alex, that kind of stuff.
You've watched me, right? I go left brain, right brain. I will take the glass, and then Alex likes to run right underneath.
Right.
And again, using the Riedel glass, and so he'll try to get something at the very top, and I'll go from right to left.
Well, it's interesting too. You'll see cellar masters in France and Cognac, where they'll do this, where they start it's almost like the glass is attached to their zipper or something.
Yeah.
So they're bringing it up, and they do it in about 3 different stages to see if they can pick up the aroma, say if it's down by your belly button, and bring it up to about here, see if you're picking up anything now, and then finally bring it up to your nose. The other thing, especially if it's the spirit is higher in strength, and you want to get past some of that alcohol bloom, you put the glass to your nose. You don't put your nose in the glass. I always say, a lot of people, I think, this is me, once again. There's no scientific, data to back me up on this. But just from my experience, I think people who stick their nose well into the glass are thinking of wine tastings. And I think it does benefit wines, but also if you have a red wine, for instance, it's a much bigger glass. And that aroma is it has a lot of room to spread out. And so going down there, great. But wine's also kind of snooty. So you have to go down to greet it. Spirits are friendlier. They come up to greet you. Hello, spirit. How are you?
Wow. So I should start that, coming up, especially with mezcals.
Oh, definitely.
No, there are some tequilas that from a distance they just they got this explosion of bouquet, and some that you really got to dig for it because the bouquet is really not there.
The process is in tequila now where they're using diffusers that strip the agave of its character, and there are times Alex and myself, we're literally doing it. I'm doing everything but trying not to snort it through my left nostril because I can't get anything out of it.
No,
I'm not sure if my glass or
again, Mike. So that goes back to what I was telling you. I mean, that's when you ask, what are you looking for in a spirit? And if you have to go searching for the aroma of a spirit, then what is that telling you about what you're going to expect when you finally do taste it?
Yep.
So that's why nosing is so key. The other thing too is, so if it was, say, a barrel strength or cast strength spirit, in fact, I had some amazing new make Bushmills at 84%.
Ooh, wow!
It was given to me a bottle of it,
Bushmills too.
And you nose it. Oh my God! And who's what is it? Cuervo owns them now.
Yes.
Don't they?
Yes.
Proximo. I used to work for Bushmills. It was great. Great whiskey. But the aroma was just, you put in a glass like this, you put it into a Copita, and that new make, you didn't have to go down. I mean, you really got the aroma. Plus, a lot of the alcohol is going to be trapped in the glass. So you start putting your nose down there, you're going to get a lot more of that alcohol bloom. I mean, you've picked that up before, where you stick your nose too far into a glass of spirit. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you get that bloom. It's like sticking your head into a fermenter, and all of a sudden that CO2 goes right up your nose. Doing it like this, also before, kind of boxing the compass. You do all 4 points.
All 4 directions.
Yeah. So down at the bottom, up at the top, side. Another interesting thing, obviously, too, and this is something that I did find this, it got a little taxing on the nose doing the BTI, because it was, a good number of hours, and you had a lot of spirits to go through. Mm-hmm. That, your nose becomes numb to aromas, no matter what. One example
that
I was given
in tequila, but it's usually your taste buds.
Well, but it's not only that. I mean, it'll happen even without spirits. One example I was given was that you go to a florist shop. Mm-hmm. As soon as you walk in, you're hit with oh wow, roses and petunias and lilacs, and you smell it all. But as you're walking around, by the time you get to the checkout counter, you don't notice it anymore. Your sense of smell can get a little lazy, where it no longer picks it up.
There are tequila catadores who prefer, when they do tastings, and Alex, you remember the gal from Casa de Aragones, and she would make you reset your palate and your nose by sniffing the back of your hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you find you got to do all these little tricks to.
You want something neutral.
To recalibrate.
I'll do that if I'm nosing a spirit. I'll nose it a couple times. Now you have to bring the glass away, and you just need something else to kind of bring your sense of smell back, to where it was. That's why a lot of times you'll go to see they'll have coffee beans, or they'll have vanilla beans.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They depending on the catador who is doing the tasting or conducting the tasting. I know that in Cuervo they do that. They'll have a monkey dish with lemon rind, lemon zest, and then they'll have a coffee beans on another one, and they'll have lime zest on the other, and I find it a bit manipulating, because they'll say, "See, touch the lime, and then have a little bit of a sip of the tradicional."
Yeah, but that's a little
tastes like lime.
Yeah, that's a little different. I mean, that's basically them. That's once again.
That's leading the witness.
Doing the Jedi mind.
Objection, Your Honor.
You're picking up the lime, are you not? That kind of thing. That's why. That's why you want to. Anytime I do a spirit training, I never tell people what they're smelling.
You let them tell you.
Yeah. And better yet, actually, when I do a staff training, I have them write it down. I don't have them shout it out. Yeah, because then all they're doing is planning it in someone else's mind, especially somebody who feels like, I don't know what I'm looking for. Oh, he just said oranges. Yeah, that's what I found. I found oranges.
That's exactly
monkey butt. It smells just like a monkey's butt.
I don't know what's going on. I did that a lot with Alex.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, that, but, the other thing too, so like I said, your sense of smell is the number one trigger of memories. And I try to instill in people that you don't have to nose a tequila and go, oh yes, I pick up a unctuous, bombastic, trichinosis of desire. You
a bit of a fermented mushroom.
Kind of a rosemary of a plethora
grows
of
only
rosemary
in Asia.
Yeah. So I say write down the first thing that comes to your mind. I mean, it could be a memory, it could be a person, a place, a thing, a moment in time. So many whiskeys remind me, especially if they're overly wooded and they're kind of hot. They remind me of my grandmother's attic up in Michigan on a hot day.
Wow.
Because it was a uninsulated kind of dormer roof, and it was shingles on the outside, wood. That's it. It was hardly a ceiling up there. And so when the sun's beating down on it, that's where you're smelling is hot wood.
Yes, hot wood.
It is.
No, I had a similar situation. I was doing a tasting in New Mexico, and someone said to me that this particular añejo reminded him of running through his grandmother's lilacs when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And it did. It just triggered a beautiful memory.
Right. And I think that is the kind of thing, if you do tastings like that, I think that's what endears a person to a spirit. Because if it's bringing back a great memory, right?
Yeah.
Why would you want to revisit that memory each and every time? You go, oh my God, it's like a memory in a bottle. like
a great dish.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Marty, I know we've been at this for about an hour. Is there anything specifics in particulars that we should know about the glassware and how we should use them? This one, for instance, is that you say it's better for aged tequilas. You wouldn't necessarily.
I mean, if you use the two, and also it kind of depends also on what you're doing. I mean, the Glencairn, you can appreciate a spirit, but you can also just use it to drink a spirit neat. I wouldn't recommend putting ice in it, but I mean, you can if you want. But if you're going to sit down and have a spirit, this is a nice one that you can alternate, right? Having nosing, appreciating, then just sitting back and enjoying. The Copita, to me, has always been the one that, and maybe some of it could be my own examination. Oh, what is that?
This is Embajador tequila. This is an añejo, and they're wonderful people. It's almost like family with us. They're based in Austin.
Arizona.
Well, no, they have an office in Austin. They live in Arizona. I love that we can appreciate the color. I mean, it just really presents the spirit I think in a much more elegant way, without having to have the stem. It's still kind of a manly glass, sturdy.
I think it's a very elegant glass.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. No. So with the Glencairn, I mean, a couple of things to note. So these are made from lead-free crystal. They do use other metals, but since so many people but the amount of lead, even in
it's not made in China.
No. In fact, we will not go anywhere near China. Our glassware is actually produced for us by a German company. And then it's made to our specifications, brought over to our studios in Scotland. We have a studio right outside of Glasgow in a town called Kilbride. And that's where we do all our own etching and engraving. This glass, the Glencairn, really didn't hit the market, even though Ray Davidson had developed it about 25 years ago. It sat on a shelf for about 10 years till his oldest son, Paul, said, "Hey, Dad, what's this? What the hell? What are you doing, eh?" And so he saw this, and they said, "Oh, well, I thought it would be a nice whiskey glass." And so they brought in, since Ray had already been working with a lot of Scottish distilleries for decanters and other glassware, he brought together 5 master blenders. I'm not sure, but I think the only one of the 5 that's still active today is Richard Patterson with the Dalmore.
Wow.
Mackay. But so the whole idea is that they said they looked at the design, they shortened the chimney here.
Mm-hmm.
They went about a couple of different tests as far as the size of the opening, the size of the billow down here. And then even the whole idea of should it be a stem or just use the little stub, little base. But see, the nice thing about this, you can, if you wish, you want to warm it up with your hands, you can.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you can still hold it just like this. It's funny, do you guys know Dave Pickerel? You ever hear of Dave?
I haven't.
He was the master blender for Maker's Mark for many years, and now he is he's prolific in the micro distillery world. He's a consultant with another Whistle Pig, Hill Rock. A lot of the local ones around here in Chicago brought Dave in. It was funny. So Dave was telling me he doesn't like this. He prefers the Copita, and the reason was he has little tiny sausage fingers. So that glass won't stay in his hand. It's falling out. So I mean, it's little things like that can determine. See this? That goes right into his little weenie sausage fingers.
I know with tequila, I try not to warm it up. As I said, we like serving it at room temp. That's not to say that some aged tequilas are not are actually better if they are warmed up a little bit. I know Alex and I kind of kid around when we say that we take our flasks and we put our flasks in our breast pockets, because when you put a reposado or an añejo in there and it's at body temperature, the wood notes are just amazing, but we generally don't do that. I try not to hold it from the cup. Although when you hand it to somebody, most often they'll hold it from the bowl. I try getting it from the stem whenever I can. And this is the one, this Canadian blending one is the one that's got me completely baffled, because I can't find a spot to hold it without warming it up.
Well, that's in the base of your hand, I guess. Either that, or I guess you can hold it up by the neck. By the neck. Yeah, you're not really affecting the spirit down at the bottom.
You just don't want to hold it by the lip or anything, because you don't want to.
I like that one. Did you put a goldfish in that one?
Yeah.
For goldfish.
Flowers.
Yeah.
They're great for flowers.
Floating.
Tea lights. It dispels the alcohol, so
Mm-hmm.
So you got to really dig in.
Yeah, I threw a ping pong ball in that once and won a goldfish. At a carnival.
I hear they're great for quarters too, but
fantastic!
Yeah,
really great.
So, anything that you want to tell us, if you were wanting to tell our listeners or all of our followers out there about Glencairn, if it's one thing that you want to tell us that they should know, what would it be?
I had a little one.
A tequila taster there.
No pressure.
Tiny. little tiny. Well, with Glencairn, if anyone is interested, you can always go to glencairn.co.uk and just reach out to us by email, or you can reach out to me directly here in beautiful North America at Marty at Glencairn. That's GLENCAIRN.co.uk. We have no minimum orders, and we do personalize. You can personalize your glass. Send us your logo and a high res. We'll brand your glasses. We do decanters, really cool, some really great decanters. One shaped just like an alembic still. So
cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very nice, and that looks really excellent when you can put a logo on it. Plus,
like
you
a
can
Tequila Aficionado logo, maybe.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah,
why not? And we even have this really. See, damn, all that stuff is over there. There's a glass. There's it's a 2 glass leather travel case. So
it's in your catalog.
Karen will travel.
Yes, I saw that case in your catalog.
Yeah,
you were nice enough to send us a PDF of the catalog,
Yeah.
and it does come with a gift set, which is great for the holidays coming up. You know, I hear jingle bells. This coming Thursday. You know what day that is, right? It's
gobble day.
Gobble day.
And you know what's really great for the holidays, guys?
What's that?
Tequila Aficionado's very own calendar. When you sign up, printed this baby out. Look at that.
Yes.
Oh my God. Now, please notice the paper quality was my own.
That was, we can send you Tequila Aficionado ring binders.
Sweet. Oh my God.
Hey, thanks. You're actually the first person that printed it out, as far as I know.
Really?
There could be other people out there that are keeping it to themselves, but you proudly wave it. And a matter of fact, before we sign off, I want to make sure. Tell me what you think about my glass here. I think that snifter's a little too much.
I
think that'll house the entire bottle.
That's the communal bowl.
That's the communal bowl. That's you pass it around. There's no problem nosing. In fact, I can bob for apples with this thing.
That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's martini glass, right?
That's the martini glass. That's just a single. That's I got a margarita glass that matches, but I don't even want to go there. Marty, thank you so much for being on with us this is our first official blab for Tequila Aficionado Media. Yeah, it's our first blab.
Oh, good.
When we do these tastings, we do them, sipping off the cuffs. We Skype, and then later on, Lisa, our producer, puts these together, and we release the videos, and we have several lined up that we still have to do for the end of 2015. But you're our first. This is live, and we wanted to try it with you. We wanted to try with this controversial topic, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for enlightening us.
And Route 66.
Yeah, and Route 66.
Yeah. By the way, Bradley, that I have. I just came back from Budapest.
Oh my gosh!
That's my James Bondian lifestyle. That's.
I was going to say, shaken and stirred. Huh?
All right.
And it's funny. I have a buddy out there, a Hungarian fella who spent 14 years in Dublin. So he also has an Irish accent mixed with Hungarian. It's the weirdest thing.
It's like Dracula with a brogue.
Yes. It's like Dracula wearing a little green derby.
There you go.
Hello, top of the morning to you. So he, what was he doing? So he's road. He's a big Harley guy, and he belongs to a Harley club out in Budapest, and they've done the Route 66. So
all right.
Going to be all over that. How can I find that? Because I want to send that to him or send him a link.
Yeah, there's our website, route66tequila.com, or I know there's 2 or 3 different places online that are selling it right now. So one of them is Old Town Tequila, but send me your address and we'll get one over.
Oh, yeah. By the way, is that based on a Harley?
BML,
is it a Harley? Is that the question?
BML Junior. I don't know what that is.
It's a motorcycle.
It's a motorcycle.
Okay, you don't say that to the Harley guys.
Well, this motorcycle, when we did our Dia de los Muertos tour, we were frequently on Route 66. So it was kind of fun to run into people that with not just Harleys, but also dragsters and classic cars. It was, all the videos can be seen on our website and on YouTube. Our YouTube channel has it also, which you will see the replay of this eventually on YouTube as well as our website. So and Marty, if anybody has any more questions for you, they can tweet you it's Martin Duffy 48.
That's right.
Okay. And Martin's everywhere. He's on Facebook. He's on LinkedIn. He does a lot of social media, which is how we found each other. And of course, here at Tequila Aficionado, you can get a hold of us as well. Route 66. Thanks for being on board. Way to go, bro. Yeah. And
thank you. Sorry to intrude. I didn't realize I was going to be part of the show.
You are now, pal. Well, we have a lot of people that are very shy, and they've been tweeting and texting us. And Lisa's been busy typing away while you and I and the 3 of us have been drinking. Yeah, she's been drinking too. Marty, is for this particular? You said it was a Canadian.
It's called the Canadian. It's called either the Canadian whiskey glass, or we also just call it the Glencairn mixer glass.
Okay.
Mixer as in a mixed cocktail.
Okay.
That's
all right.
That's how.
That's what it.
That's how the Scots would see it, as a mixing glass.
Yeah. See, because I'm thinking that this would be perfect for a Canadian blended whiskeys. Correct.
Well, that was the whole idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Canadian whiskey, Canadian rye. A gentleman up in who had a Canadian brand asked us to create it for him, and it was really just going to be for him. And then it kind of took off. Other people saw it; they liked it. Even some of the Scotch companies, they're either using our glass or they're using a knockoff of that glass.
No, you want the real thing.
I know.
No knockoffs here.
Tell them, fools.
Marty, thank you so much again for kindly, bringing these to us, and for letting us pick your brain for a little while. And we're going to do this again, hopefully one day soon, and or maybe we'll be up in Chicago, and if that's the case, then we'll close that. We'll close down all the whiskey joints in town.
You guys should come up to so the American Craft Spirits Association conference. It's a 2-day conference. Will be here in Chicago at the Palmer House, March 2nd and 3rd, and on March 1st will be kind of a kickoff party called Distillinois.
Distillinois? Oh, I get it. Distillinois. I get it.
Still Illinois. Boom.
Yeah, I get it. Distillinois.
So have about 60 different spirits from around the country. So that, in fact, we have a guy. We have a couple of locals that make a agave spirit. So it might be kind of interesting for you guys to come up and check it out.
Well, I may be hitting you up with that. I know that our 2016 schedule is still up in the air, but it's certainly a possibility. our initial plans for the Dia de los Muertos tour was to go to Illinois eventually, but that didn't work out. So we went west instead toward the Grand Canyon and Carlsbad Caverns. So we'll definitely keep it on our calendar for sure, and let all of our followers who are in Chicago or want to run up there in Illinois certainly go to the show in March. So
also, guys, another thing, I know we're trying to go here, but you know what might be kind of a fun idea is possibly you guys come up in September. I forget what day. It's the last Wednesday in September is the Chicago Independent Spirit Expo. Maybe you guys come up.
I think I know somebody who's organizing it.
Or there's another, but maybe the day before, day after, you guys could host a lot of the smaller tequila companies and do some kind of little event. You know,
that I hear gears moving, and my producer Lisa is just already thinking, and I can hear her thinking through here. So thank you for the offer, sir. Appreciate that for keeping us posted, and maybe I can even coerce Alex to come up, run up there with us.
That's cool.
Coerce. I gotta bend his arm and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Marty.
I appreciate it. Thank you, folks, for joining our blab. We hope you learned something. We're going to try and do more and more of these in the future for 2016. Hopefully, Alex, for our next blab will be the 2015 Brands of Promise live here on Blab, where we give out awards to our Brands of Promise winners, and we don't give them anything. We give them a graphic they can use, but we recognize many of the producers who are small, maybe independent. They don't have the big marketing budgets, and we try to focus our view on them. And when we know ahead of time who the winners will be, we'll have them on our next blab. So, In the meantime, folks, I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. Alex, send us home.
Alex Perez will be watching Tequila Aficionado Media with Martin and Bradley. Thanks, guys. Hope you get to watch again. Brady Bunch.
All right. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Sip wisely.
Mike,
Sip wisely,
Carol,
right.
Greg, Marcia.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good night.